the most important day of the week.
What?
Yep.
Okay.
I know things change up. Well, if you didn't realize it,
Mic drop. Mic
Damn,
drop.
Gary.
Boom.
Kevin is out today, so we switched things up. My name is Clint. I'll be your host, and we got plenty of guys in here to keep you guys entertained for the morning. So, first thing we want to talk about is we're in our book. It's Friday, May 7th, and best day of the week. All right, so here's what we're going to start out with. Who hit the snoozer button this morning? Anybody? Where's he at? Jake!
That's a lie.
Jake, you're lying on podcast.
Jake got popped.
I didn't have an alarm set at all. But I woke up 5 minutes, 10 minutes after everybody else's alarms went off.
There you go.
Oh, man.
All right.
Loser, dude.
There you go. All right. So my most important thing in the morning is the gratitude and goals lately. So, let's focus on that. That's what I've been focusing on. But this quote is what everybody's been talking about this morning. So let's get right into that. Success comes from the inside out. In order to change what is on the outside, you must first change what is on the inside. Joe, can you pronounce who quoted that?
Yeah, that is Idowu Koyenikan.
Good job. All right. So, like I said, we've been talking about that all morning and what that means to us. And the question that we kind of came up with and we've been thinking about is, what do you do to keep the success flowing, and what motivates you to be successful, even in the times where you struggle, you don't know if you want to continue to move forward, if you want to sit back and relax? Like, what motivates you guys and everybody else to want to be successful from the inside?
I mean, you could go a bunch of different ways on this topic because, well, I made some points that, like, one, you can't, if you're talking about changing the outside, you can't just fake it all the time. You can't just, put a smile on, put a mask on, comb your hair, and expect things to be okay. And people are going to think, oh, this guy's changed from the inside. It doesn't work that way. I mean, a couple key points is, one, accountability. You can start with simple accountability from others. We have our therapeutic community here. We hold each other accountable when we don't even know we're not being accountable. You know what I mean? As students here, we are to develop these new behaviors, these boundaries, these guidelines that we live by to eventually, hold ourselves more accountable more often.
So let's go back to our therapeutic community. So with that, you're kind of saying that in order for you to personally be successful, you got to surround yourself with a good quality team, not just, you can't do it on your own.
Well, if we could do it on our own, let's be honest, we wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
And yeah, man, I think in the idea is as time goes on, you build your own character to where you are holding yourself accountable, more responsible as a practice behavior. Hence, then you're creating the culture of motivation, purpose, impeccable honesty, all this leading to success. If you got to remind yourself, why am I here? Why did I come here? And back to, hey, I want to be successful. I haven't been successful in ever. Big one that you and I were even talking about, Clint, get out of my comfort zone. If you're staying comfortable, you are staying in that self bull crap of things of why you got here. Lazy, easy, Also, be vulnerable. Tell people where you're at. What are you feeling? Some people are quick to get angry instead of saying, you know what, I'm really just sad. Like, I'm upset with myself. But we put on all these fronts. These are all outside masks that you wear to just push people away. But,
Well, the one thing I like what you said is being vulnerable. You're not going to be perfect every day. You're not going to be successful every day, but you can do your best. And when you don't do your best, you need to talk about it. And we also, with like that team part, we all surrounded ourselves with people that didn't care if we were successful. They didn't care what we did if we didn't do our best. And none of us were accountable. So I think that is, like, for me at least, that's a big important part, like, to surround myself with these 15 guys that we have here, because in my past I surrounded myself with who I knew I could manipulate to slide by to be successful in a way that was just for me to go out and get high or, you know, get by for the day, and there was no push to be successful on the inside. It was all outside, or how I could look on the outside, or who I could please that day for my benefit. That's what it was all about. It wasn't success for me today is not what it was a year and a half ago. Today it's surrounded, like you said, with accountability, with love, with caring about the person that's next to me.
So, you know, this topic of the people you put around you and helping you, you know, you can very easily pick 1 to 2 people and them not be about positivity or doing the right thing in their lives. And, you know, I feel like that's what I've done in different areas I lived, different friend groups. I picked the couple of people in the past. I picked a couple of people that work for me, that if it was out of the football group, out of the basketball group, out of the guys that went snowboarding, out of the guys that did this, I picked the group, those 2 or 3 people out of each one of those groups that worked for me, you know? And that's what's so cool about, like, when you start to think about success and even building a future, you really have to start picking your relationships, you know, in the right way,
And letting some go.
Yeah, and that's well, don't go switching topics on me now.
All right.
But I mean, you have to let go of relationships that you think are this, because they're really not what you thought they were. And especially when you get sober and you start to move forward with your life, you start to realize that those people are still doing the same thing. A lot of those people aren't, well, almost all those people are not changing their lives and trying to improve their lives. They're just trying to do what they have to do every day. So a community of people that, like, with the accountability and that are just straight training for life. You know what I mean? Every day, you know, you said it perfectly, you know, you make mistakes. Mistakes are good. Mistakes are one thing, but what are you learning from them? You know? And I think success for me now is slowly starting to turn into wanting to help people, like wanting to be involved with, whether it be different groups of people, whether it doesn't really matter to me, but wanting to inspire or motivate and let people know that there's hope on the other side of a very bad past.
Well, even with that, like, yeah, we practice this every day, but there's still days where we are very self-absorbed and very about us. And, you know, that's, I enjoy now that we recognize that, and it's not what it used to be for us. But I think we are missing another big part of this. Jesse Sanchez, you know what it is that comes with success?
Hard work.
There you go, baby.
Yeah.
It's going to take practice of hard work every single day, and success has to come from the inside. No one can hand you success. You have to want it. You have to put in the work. You have to grind for it, you know. Before coming here, I didn't care about being successful, you know. I was cool with being the person I was, you know, just being a loser scumbag, you know. I didn't really care for anything. And now, today, I care about being successful. I care about being a good person. And, you know, that takes hard work. And it takes a team around me pushing me to be that person. Because there's days, you know, where I am self-absorbed and, you know, I lose sight of my vision, you know, the person I want to be, the family I want. And, you know, it takes a strong team, and it takes constant hard work, and you have to want it. No one's going to hand you it.
I mean, what does that hard work look like? Like, we all go through struggles, so what's the hard work to get out of the struggle to then come back into realizing, man, like, this isn't where I need to be successful? Like, how do we get out of the struggle to put in the work to then, you know, get on the back to the right path of being successful?
I saw, like, well, for one, I think you got to get out of your head as far as feeling bad for yourself, putting yourself in a victim, or your feelings. You know, your feelings want to tell you, this is hard. This is, you know, I'm getting angry. This is frustrating me. Like, you got to get past those surface stuff. Like, you got to get to the root of yourself, you know. It's practice behavior. Like, I was thinking before, like, it's practice. Like, you got to practice this hard work, this effort, you know. You just got to keep putting it in 100%. But you got to get past the feelings of, I keep going back to like frustration and anger. I guess that was what I would do. I would be quick to get frustrated or angry. And once I would do that, I would put up this wall and I would start pushing people away. That way I could go back to my comfort zone, you know, and not have to put in the work.
Go ahead, Devin.
So, to me, the hard work is doing something different than what you've done. Like, instead of just exploding, getting angry, or treating people like shit, it's, being vulnerable, talking about the truth of, like, what's going on with you, and not just beating around the bush and just saying, like, oh, this was hard of the day. Like, okay, well, why was that hard of the day when it may have just been, like, a simple task? Like, oh, I kept dropping screws, and that's why my day's messed up. Well, what's deeper than that? It's like talking about the things that are the truth and not just going around it and saying that that's the problem. That to me is the hard work, just doing something different than you haven't done.
Yeah, and like, it's crazy to be talking about this and thinking about this with being sober. Like, you think, like, just because you're sober now this stuff's like gonna come to you and be easy, but
Maybe
like,
it's not.
no, these are like problems that we deal with, and I think everybody else that deals with every day. But we are getting the ability and the chance to practice and know how, because I personally never knew how to deal with these problems or be successful in relationships with other people. So yeah, it's more than just putting down the alcohol and the drugs in order to be successful. And that took a while for me to realize that that's what it's going to take. It's not just about the drugs and the alcohol. It's about the everyday grind, the hard work that goes in with being successful on the inside. Outside, I mean, being sober and being clean, like, you can probably go out and maintain a job, make some money, be successful on the outside. But what does that look like for the inside? Like, you're still going to be lonely. You can still be stuck in these ways that
miserable.
I think from the mindset from within, I've always had these dreams and goals. I've always wanted to be a purposeful, better person. A husband to my wife, a father to my children, a son to my mother, and a brother to my brothers. You know what I'm saying?
that has to start with the inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that work comes from when I catch myself on the job site acting like a jerk because my back is aching or something like that. I got to call myself out and be like, dude, it's okay. Like, I'm a little tired. It's because I'm working hard. That's what men are supposed to do. And you just keep pushing. And you know what? And you help the guy next to you. And you pick your head up and you keep going. You flow. You just have to have the mindset of purpose. And this is how it's supposed to be. I got to work hard. This is great. You put in that extra effort, and when everything's said and done, you can look back. You can be proud of yourself, and with the effort you put in, there's a payoff. It's rewarding.
Hard work is the key. Nobody's going to hand it to you. I always thought things were going to be handed to me. Now I'm learning that hard work, that's the whole key right there.
It's not going to be as easy, Gary. It is not going to be easy. So, I don't know. I mean, today I'm viewing things in a different lens about success. I hope everybody else is here. Has anybody else got anything on this?
I just wanted to touch on that. We're talking about all the success and what we need to do to put in, but what does that reward look like, man?
You tell me.
What is the point of fighting for the success that we're talking about?
I think the real reward of, like, what we're talking about is just being able to experience joy, like, in every emotion that we have. Like, say joy, like, just being able to have joy, like, consistently, even when you're sad, even when you're mad, going through a struggle, like, being able to have gratitude.
Yeah, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah, just true happiness.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, talk about dropping screws at a job, talk about your back hurting at a job. At the end of the day, are you still happy with where you are? Are you still happy with the person you are, with the person you've become? Are you happy with where you are in life? Are you satisfied? Are you happy with the relationships you have around you? You know what? It just is about your attitude. It really comes down to attitude, gratitude, and, you know, all the tudes.
All the tudes.
All the tudes.
Like, for me, it's when, like, you know, I go to lay down at the end of the night. Like, you know, I used to lay down and be miserable. Now I, like, lay down and almost with a smile on my face, like, man, like, what today was awesome. You know, this happened, and it was never that for me before. So that's part of success for me, is, like, that feeling, like, when you lay down of, man,
I killed it today.
yeah, I killed it today, or, like, tomorrow's going to be another day to go and be better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what it is for me, is, like, when I have that moment of when my day ends, like, and, like, every day. Some days are better than others, but the joy and the happiness and the fulfillment, really, and the purpose, like you said, I like that, like the purpose of what we were doing. And you always got to have that purpose. If not, you're going to go through life just floating.
You know, something's just really, I just wanted to say quick, not to even get on topic of it, but we're talking about these things dealing like around work and whatnot, purpose. But last night, this morning was very, felt very gratitude. I felt a lot of gratitude toward, we helped one of our guys out, Drew, last night through a struggle. And during the struggle, it reached moments where I was like, oh man, like I don't want to say some of these things I'm about to say, but I did. And you know what, at the end of it, dude, like, he clung to me later on at the house, like he was happy, like, you know, and it was so gratifying that I extended myself to say some things that he needed to hear, and just that gratitude that you helped another person, and to me, that's real purpose. And on the job sites, you know, things we go through during the day, that's purpose. You help the guy next to you, and to me, that's success.
So, you know, maybe that's something we could go out with today. You know, like, what are you guys, you know, out in society, out in public, like, what are you seeing in people, in your friends, that you're not telling them?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Like, how could you open your mouth in a loving and caring way, but the truth, to help somebody you see out there struggling or just miserable?
Yeah.
How can you reach them?
And help them be successful, you know, because it takes a team. We don't do it on our own, and we have a great team here that we do this. We fight every day together, and I wouldn't change that. So, you good, Joey?
I just love it, man. Serve, baby, serve.
All right. Well, yep. Remember, this is the most important day, Kevin. All right, guys, everybody out there, say it, Jesse.
Phantasmorific.
Have a phantasmorific
Do it
day.
with soul.
Do it with soul.
Gary, get some.